weak if we don't really have strength to hang on to our own integrity, if our flesh is always won out, if our spirit has always opted to change the law to make me feel better, if all those things, if that's who we are, if we're just weak, undisciplined, immoral people. You know, when I say immoral, what's the first thing you think about? Don't you think about sex? You know, that's usually what immoral, how people play off of that. But you can be immoral by having wicked thoughts. You can be immoral by lying. You can be immoral by stealing. You can, you know, morality covers everything that's right and everything that's wrong. And if we don't have that kind of strength to put on, why do you think the scripture says, put off malice, put off anger, put off envy, put off these things, put on righteousness, put on love, put on faithfulness, put on, you know, the fruit of the Spirit, put that on. Why do you think it says put it on? Because you need to put it on. You need to know what you need and go after it. Wouldn't that be a new discipline? To go after what you know pleases the Lord. Go after love. Go after integrity. Go after dignity. Care about how you are to others. Care about how you appear to others. You know, you don't have to be rich to dress nice. You don't. You don't have to be rich to comb your hair, if you have some. Be the woman of God to others. I wonder, you know, I know some of the younger girls, Rachel, you know, some of the younger girls struggle in identity and looking ahead at the future. And especially if you've taken some really hard hits in life. And that's understandable. But you will always come out on top if you look in the mirror and say, I am going to be a woman of God. I'm going to have the kindness and gentleness and power of Esther. I'm going to have the submission of Mary. I'm going to be a servant. And nothing will cause me to give up my integrity, my dignity. Nothing, because I am the daughter of the Most High. I dwell in palaces made without hands. My gold and my wealth is my character. And nobody can take anything from me that I'm unwilling to give pertaining to my righteousness. End of story for you. Be the woman of God. And it might have to start with your husband. Oh, darn it. You mean I have to be a woman of God to that guy? Yes. He's your test. Somebody said, well, yeah, I don't care if I pass that one. But see, he's not the one that suffers. Oh yeah, he suffers with your many words and your attitudes and maybe getting hit over the head with a skillet. He suffers in some ways. But you're the one who will ultimately suffer. Because guess what? What's the bottom line again? What are you walking around with?
Unforgiveness.
Unforgiveness. You don't smoke in secret, drink in secret, go gambling in secret. You know, go to the wrong movie in secret. But find forgiveness. And one thing I know about, you know what happens? Say, well, how can you tell people to do that? Look, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. But what I'm concerned about is they have not a clue what walking through life unforgiven will do to them and do to their soul. They haven't got a clue. I say many, many Christians, we know, we probably collectively in this room, I don't know, 10,000 people. And that's not the people we've met. That's people we probably all can think about that we've met and know throughout the years. But we've been in church, haven't we? Yes. Linda lived the first, how many years of life in church? 25 years in church. Big churches, because she's from LA. And you know what that means? That means she's lived in communities of great sin. Why do you think, have you ever, I could ask you this. Well, I could just say, she was hoping her husband would die. Okay. Gee, is that kind of like an immoral thought? You think? Is that he that looks on a woman to lust has committed adultery already? Can we follow that through? She that wants her husband to die has committed murder already in her heart. Can you follow that through? Is that all right? And how'd she get that way? And what released her to be that way? And she didn't realize she was living unforgiven. And how was she able to do that? Because she went to church and heard messages that justified her in her heart. She didn't get convicted about that. I mean, how long was that going on before we went to lunch?
Probably 2 years.
2 years. So she was kind of hoping her husband would die for 2 years. And all that time, she's living in unforgiveness. You see that? Her soul's not forgiven. Oh, the Lord loves her. I didn't say that. I said she's unforgiven. You think there would have been an issue if she would have had a heart attack? Fallen dead? Woke up in the presence of the Lord, he'd have to look at her and say, you're a murderer. She goes, what? Did I kill somebody on my way out? So we go to lunch. How long had it been since I'd seen you?
Years.
Years. We go out to lunch. We go to Sizzlin where you get your own salad and you wait for the steak and everything. We're sitting there. I look at her and what did I say?
You said, Linda, you said it's not good. You started reading my spiritual mail. He said, I know you feel like you're just in a tough situation. You feel trapped. But he said, you know what? You've got condemnation in your soul by praying for Gary to die.
Pass the salt.
Nobody knew that. That's what absolutely I got. I had a heart attack.
Probably about the time you were choking pills down your father's throat when I walked in on that.
Yeah, right. But the bottom line here is all of us that had the church culture and went to church lived in a community of unforgiven people. Right in church. I'd say 50%. At any given time on any Sunday, 50% of the congregation were living in unforgiveness. Well, that seems pretty harsh. How can you say that? Well, let me ask this. How are you forgiven? You have to acknowledge your sin and turn from it. And he forgives you. And the second you set your heart to believe, just like Daniel, the second he set his heart to pray, the angel of the Lord was released, but it took him, 2-3 weeks to get there. He had to fight his way to earth. Boy, how's that work? Don't ask me. I don't know.